Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And we're now speaking with Nola Aronson of Advanced Audiology. Welcome, my dear. How are you?
Hi. Thanks for having me back again.
Yes, absolutely. And I hear you've been doing some traveling.
Yeah, just came back from Aruba, and we'll be traveling again soon to Clearwater, Florida. So that will be fun.
And who was talking about St. Petersburg, Russia?
Oh no, Robin's daughter is
Getting married.
engaged, and they told us that they were, thinking of getting married in St. Petersburg, and the thing was, it was not Florida, it was Russia.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a beautiful
He originally
place.
was from Russia. So
Yeah.
have you been?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Russ
yeah.
and I were on a Viking riverboat cruise from St. Petersburg to Moscow.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, incredible.
One of
we
these
spent
days.
3 days in St.
I think
Petersburg.
they were going to have it in January, though.
It doesn't make any difference.
Really?
No,
It's not
doesn't
cold
make
there
any
at all?
Yes,
Is it
it's
a reason-
cold.
Oh, okay.
It's cold.
Is the river frozen?
But no,
Okay.
absolutely not. Now,
a beautiful place.
Oh, it is.
I really had fun
absolutely
there.
gorgeous.
What was the name of the river? Do you remember? River?
The,
It's not the
no, I'm
Danube,
thinking.
right?
No, I'm thinking the mine. I think it's the
Is it
mine.
mine or yours?
No, it's mine and the. Is it the Seine? No, that's
know.
in.
Or the insane?
I'll have to look it up. But we're doing another riverboat cruise in Egypt in November.
Yeah.
Viking riverboat cruise.
How fun.
Yeah, my brother likes to go on those.
Oh, they're fantastic.
But you liked Aruba.
Yeah, it was nice.
It's just a little island. I wonder how they got the name Aruba. Do you know? Did they give you any history? I've always seen that name, and I thought, that just doesn't seem like a Caribbean island name.
Yeah, no, they just have beautiful beaches there.
Yeah, Aruba was in the news many years ago. Remember?
Yeah, negatively.
Yeah, negatively.
Yeah.
So,
Because people would go down, I guess, for winter break or something like that.
Yeah,
So
lots of people do.
what do you want to talk about today? Anything special about things that are out there that might be new because there's no doubt that when one has hearing problems and they don't recognize it, or loved ones don't recognize it, their quality of life is going to suffer.
Right.
There's no way that you could really interact in society within your family, in your own home, answering the phone, watching television, none of these things, out driving, hearing ambulances. That's a huge problem if you can't hear.
It is a huge problem. The thing that's coming up, all the time is about the cost of hearing aids, and especially for our seniors who are on limited incomes and things like that. Cost is overriding the benefit that you can really get from being able to hear. And that's
true.
very, very sad to me, especially because all I want to do is help people lead better social lives and be able to communicate better. And when you're not able to do that, then you start to become isolated, you get depressed, all those other factors start to set in. And we are talking more and more about brain hearing and how the brain is affected by not being able to hear. And they've traced, Alzheimer's and dementia back to, not being able to hear.
yeah, we were talking about Alzheimer's with our last guest, who was with Oakmont, and she said they have Alzheimer's dementia groups, support groups.
Right.
So it's big.
Well, it's kind of like when I used to be a special ed teacher when I was younger. We would get kids that were labeled as retarded. But they weren't retarded. They had a hearing loss. I didn't know that much about hearing loss at the time. But they were just thrown in institutions, and their hearing was never tested, and so they couldn't hear, so they looked like they were stupid. And, seniors worry about also that, I don't want a hearing aid because that's going to make me look old. That's the biggest thing. So that is a really silly objection, because you're going to look old when you don't hear what somebody says and you start saying what, and you start annoying people.
That's right. Or I
That's
don't
when
understand
you're going to look
you.
old.
That's right.
So,
Exactly.
you know, we were doing a survey. I had a market research company I hired for the last 3 months, and they were doing surveys on people in the Santa Clarita Valley that they were listed as having a hearing loss. And they had a picture. They said, what comes to mind when you think about hearing loss or something like that? And they all said a big horn that comes out of your ear. And I think we're a little bit behind the times there, because you know, my husband has an 85% hearing loss, and he's my biggest spokesperson because he has hearing aids on and nobody sees them.
That's right.
And so I say, okay, well, do you see the hearing aids on him? And everybody goes, where? And I said, that's the point. You know, hearing aids today are made to be inconspicuous, but, you know, the young kids today, they walk around with these Bluetooth devices hanging out of their ears, and nobody thinks twice about that.
There's no stigma anymore.
Or these new hearables that are coming out, where you listen to your music inside your ears and everything, and you got, you know, this person came to my office with somebody, and they had these big wires hanging out of their ears. And I go, why do you have those in your ears right now? And he was saying, because I forgot, I was on my phone. And he had these big wires hanging out of his ears. So why are we caring about how hearing aids look these days, and this thing about getting old?
Yeah.
It's not about getting old. If you don't do something about your communication skills and your hearing, you will be old.
Absolutely.
Well, there's something else too. When I'm in the car and all of a sudden I hear this boom, 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 and
Right.
it's a car pulling up beside me, and I can hardly hear myself think because of the noise that's coming out of those cars. Kids nowadays have the radios turned up so high, and don't they realize that they're harming their hearing?
No.
They don't.
My son
But
always
you'd
says to
think-
me, hey, Mom, there's your next patient.
That's right, and it's very true.
So-
Very true. And I'm amazed that parents don't discuss that with their kids.
But that's ongoing.
Because it's very
'cause
dangerous.
When we were growing up, it was the same thing. I mean, people would have their music loud. You go to concerts and let's sit up close, and the speakers are there, and you know, and then if you're in the military, or you know, the munitions explode right near you, and if you weren't hearing ear guards, you were done.
Well, why do you think we have the baby boomer generation now, and hearing is becoming more and more important, and younger people are getting hearing devices, and you know, they're liking them because they're all Bluetooth compatible, which means you can answer your cell phone in your hearing aid, you can watch TV through your hearing aid, you can listen to music through your hearing aids, but they're programmed to your hearing loss. So, I mean, they're less conspicuous than a Bluetooth device, so they're really cool. So I always tell people, you know, just tell people they're a Bluetooth device, you know, because they are. And, you know, this way you wouldn't be saying what, and you'd look young and stay young. But, you know, I want to get back to the cost factor. So, you know, everybody thinks that, you know, well, hearing aids are expensive. Okay. But they're a long-term investment in your quality of life.
That's right.
You can't even put a price on. It makes me so happy when I change people's lives and they smile, and a couple says to me, the wife says, oh my God, it was like the first day we got married. Thank you for giving me my husband back. We can talk now. We can communicate. This is why I do what I do. It's because I can change people's lives and I can make them happy again. And, you know, communication is a universal solvent. When we can't communicate with each other, what are we going to do? We're going to
That's
fight with each
exactly
other.
right.
We're
That's
going to get
right.
frustrated. We're going to get mad at people. And then, you know, then we have people arguing and not getting along. And
Sounds familiar these days.
yes, it
Doesn't
does.
it?
Yes,
Maybe
it
everybody
does.
should get hearing aids.
Yeah. Well,
The universal solvent.
right.
Probably a lot more people need to get them than
That's
do
probably
have.
a
But
part
the
of our
first thing they
problem.
do is say they're too much money. And, it's really sad, but it's where are your priorities? I had a woman come in the other day and she goes, well, I'm going on this cruise. I love to travel and I'm always traveling with my friends. So am I going to, now if I have to buy these hearing aids, I can't go on my cruise.
What?
And we were saying, well, okay, I said, now, what about the tour guide? And the tour guide's giving you this lecture about the whole history of where you're going. And you can't hear the tour guide. So how great is your cruise going to be, or your tour, or whatever you're doing, if you can't hear them?
That's right.
So
That's right.
Where are the priorities here? Do you want to keep going around going, what, or... and, the other thing that really gets to me is that, people say, okay, well, the hearing aids are cheaper at Costco. Do you know we have a special program in our office just for Costco patients, or, people that buy hearing aids online, because they're never programmed right.
No.
And so they go, oh, these things don't work. They're not helping me. And they come in and we go, okay, well, we have a special program just for you, and we'll fix your hearing aids up, but this is the point. The point is, you're paying for quality, you're paying for service, you're paying for expertise, and you're paying for somebody that's really going to get you to where you want to go.
That's
and
right.
knows what your goals are in your life.
So, I know our listeners are right now, Nola, sitting, listening to the show and hearing us, but they're going, okay, I'm baby boom, but I'm on Medicare. Tell us why Medicare does not pay for hearing aids.
Okay, Gene, we've had this discussion many times.
I want our listeners to hear it again so they continue to be frustrated.
Right. Well, it's our government, okay?
Our government.
I wish Medicare would pay for something for hearing aids, because, it would be so much easier for me too.
Well, they pay for the tests,
Yes,
they will
pay
pay
for
for
the
a
test.
hearing test.
but they don't pay for the
how
actual
about the other
hearing
side
aid.
when the
But
hearing
do
is...
they pay for glasses? Do they pay for
dental?
teeth?
No,
No?
neither. None of those
So-
three. Those are the
so-
things the three
Right.
of us have talked about before in the past about what, as we're on that edge of Medicare, in there we're saying, why aren't these quality of life parts of life not being paid for?
Well.
And but let me ask you about specifically, they will pay for the hearing test. What about all the way across the board when someone has a neurologic problem and you figure that out? This is neurologic, and they need to have an implant put in. Now, is that paid for by Medicare?
Cochlear implant? No.
They're not?
No.
Oh man, because if they have a nerve problem like that, can a hearing aid make a difference?
It depends on how much hearing loss you have.
And if it's significant, then-
But it's not only hearing loss. It's when the sound is amplified, can you understand speech?
Yeah.
Because the hearing aid is an amplifier.
Yeah.
So if it distorts sound when something's amplified, a hearing aid's not going to work for
good.
you. That's when you go to a cochlear implant, when you're not understanding speech. But that's all what we do when you come into our office, is we figure all those things out for you, and we figure out whether you actually, maybe you have wax in your ears. Maybe you just have a medical problem. Maybe you have fluid. And then we refer you back to your physician and we help you. So when you walk into our office, it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, we're coming to get hearing aids. Because you may have a different problem, and I don't know how many people know, but audiologists are doctors of audiology now, and we have 8 years of postgraduate training, and we're very, experts at hearing. We're equal to optometrists when it comes to the eyes. So we're not the medical doctor like the otolaryngologist or the ear, nose, and throat specialist is to an ophthalmologist. But we are the optometrists. We are the ones that, when there is no medical solution, we are the ones to help people. And we have a mission at Advanced Audiology. We have a mission to reach 1,000 of our community members over the age of 50 to give free hearing screenings to find out what your baseline hearing is, so that when you are getting older, you're aware of when something's changing. We would like to educate all our community in regards to hearing. That's what we're all about, and that's why we want to give these free hearing screenings. So we have a thermometer at our office now, and we are raising it as we get.
Oh, how
A
neat.
symbolic thermometer is
Right, a symbolic thermometer on the wall. And as we get more and more people that we can help and teach and educate about hearing, then we make our thermometer get higher. So it's now April, and we have until December to reach our 1,000. And I'm not sure where we are right now, but I think we're at about 300 people.
Terrific.
So anybody that would like to come in for a free hearing screening can come and call us at 661-253-EARS. That's 661-253-3277. We're located on Valencia Boulevard in the Owen Patterson Troop Building. Next to AAA, we have the purple sign. And we're in Suite 103. And just tell the front desk that you heard me on KHTS 1220 radio on the Senior Hour show. And we can get you scheduled for that.
Well, then maybe that thermometer will start rising.
Yeah, that's our mission. Our mission is to help people in our community, and we do that in a lot of different ways. I just had a beautiful article written on me in Elite Magazine about, all the things that I do for the community. I don't just do hearing, but I help, like the Circle of Hope. I help our veterans for build the houses for the veterans. I'm helping the Michael Hoffman Association. I'm in the Seroptimists, and I'm helping young girls with their education, getting young girls educated. And I'm in VIA. I just won the Best Small Business of the Year with the Chamber of Commerce this year.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Was that your celebration to Aruba?
Oh, no. No, that wasn't. But anyway, so we have been in the Santa Clarita Valley for 30 years, and we are the most expert in hearing advice and education. So
That's terrific. We need to take a break, don't we? And we'll be back in a few minutes to talk with you, Nola.
Okay.
I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And we've been speaking with Nola Aronson of Advanced Audiology.
So one of the things that you've got that symbolic thermometer at your office, and we're trying to get that up. What do they need to do? What do our listeners need to do to help you with that, but also help them with assuring that any deficits they might have in their hearing are recognized? What do? They call you up, they get an appointment, and they come on in. And what kind of time factor are we talking about? What happens when they sit down with Nola and the people there and start learning about what might be wrong with them?
So you need about 30 minutes. It doesn't take very long. And, even if you don't feel like you have a hearing deficit, you just want to see that you don't, you still can come in. It doesn't mean you have to have a hearing deficit to come in our office. So the main thing is we're just trying to show people when we do a hearing test, we have a graph that comes out. And you test the right ear and the left ear, right? Well, now we go over where that is on the normal range
graph.
And where the speech banana is, what we call
Speech
banana.
It's banana.
banana.
Because it looks like a little banana.
It's banana.
And what that is all the sounds that are in 80% of our language that give the meaning to a word. Like if you say the word cake, to somebody, but they think you said take, and then it doesn't make sense. So that might be in a range with your hearing. So a lot of people think, when they have a hearing problem, they'll notice it because they'll be deaf and they'll really notice it. But you don't want to wait till that point.
No, that's too late.
So what you want to do is pay attention to, when you're in crowds, are you having difficulty understanding people? When you're watching TV, do you have difficulty understanding people? How many times are you asking somebody to repeat? Do you feel people mumble? Is anybody else saying something about your hearing? And I always suggest for spouses, for married couples or, couples of any kind, you don't have to be married, to come in together when you're arguing about who has the hearing problem. Why don't you just come in together and we'll end the debate right then?
Absolutely. That's an excellent idea.
Raise that
Excellent
thermometer.
suggestion.
Yeah. We'll give both of you a hearing screening and then we can see. Maybe nothing's wrong with either one of you. You just don't want to pay attention to each other. So
That could be very revealing, couldn't it?
right.
So when they have that the speech banana that you do, and by the way, I think that's very appealing. That's bad. But don't you get in? I saw a picture. I think it was an Elite where they're in a room and you were kind of outside the room, but they're in a room, so they have to go in a room and then you're testing them. So
Right.
it just requires them sitting there. It's not that they're putting needles in you or putting a blindfold on you or anything like that. It's real benign.
Yeah, it's like a game show. You get to push a button when you hear a sound. Well, it's just like, push the buttons and when you got the answer and maybe you'll win some money.
Is it double jeopardy?
But we are giving away a 3-day, 2-night vacation. We have a drawing going on.
Aruba?
No, but there's 8 different places, and one of them is Florida, I think Colorado, Las Vegas. I don't remember all the places, but anyway, there's 8 different places, and we're putting people's names in a drawing. If you
fun.
come with somebody, you get to put your name in the drawing for the 3-day, 2-night vacation.
That sounds
and so it's
good.
kind of fun, you might just get a normal hearing screening, and guess what? You can win a vacation at the same time. So we try to make
Well,
it
that
fun at
sounds
Advanced
great.
Audiology.
But of course, if it's a river cruise and the guide is lecturing, you want to be able to hear them.
Absolutely.
Like you said earlier.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, how fun. But,
Yeah.
you are doing work in Santa Clarita, Nola, that others are not doing. And your work is contributing not just to the welfare, but to the quality of life of so many of our seniors that have lived here for years, but you are moving them up in the world and keeping them and establishing them in a place where we all love. And it keeps them from falling out of society. There's no doubt the care you are rendering to our patients has augmented their life and those of their families too. And we thank you for that.
Thank you. Well, that's what's in my heart. My heart is to, help people with their lives in any way that I can.
And tell us again where you're located and
So we're
how we can
located-
reach you.
We're located on Valencia Boulevard next to AAA in the Owen Patterson Troop Building. We have a purple sign on our building, and we are in Suite 103. Our phone number is 661-253-EARS. That's 661-253-3277.
Always great to have you on the show.
And hopefully
Absolutely.
everybody heard me.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's right.
If not, just look for the building
The big purple sign.
with the purple sign.
Great. Well, thanks for being on the show again, Nola. It's always a pleasure.
Okay, thanks for having
Yes,
me. I
thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
We are sponsored by Nola and SCV In-Home Care. Listen to us next week on the Senior Hour. Now go and enhance your quality of life.